Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a great show lined up for you today, and we're going to kick it off right now from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. We're going to be joined by the head softball coach, Coach Tim Walton. Good morning, Tim. How are you, my man?
I'm great, Shane. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, it's been another great year, another SEC championship for you. First off, I just want to ask you, how has this season in your mind unfolded? Has it been about what you expected, not as good, or are you pleased with how – I mean, obviously you win the conference title. You got to be happy.
Yeah, I had a text exchange with Scott Strickland on Monday afternoon, not the previous Monday, before the championship, or before we played the A&M series. And, after LSU won a game last Monday in a doubleheader, we had an opportunity, obviously, to sweep to take, which we knew was going to be tough, but to take the SEC championship. And long story short, I told Scott, I said, if we sweep this weekend and win the SEC, it'll be the greatest accomplishment that my teams have had in my SEC career. So I think in my mind, we've exceeded expectations. Not necessarily that we don't think we're going to be a winning team, but that I didn't know that this is going to be a really, really, really difficult year to win a championship.
Yeah, no question. Before we get into your team, were you surprised at how Arkansas goes from worst to first in a league like the SEC?
They no. When you look at their staff, I mean, they've got and I could be mistaken, but I think 3 of their 4 coaches are all former head coaches or have been head coaches. So Courtney's got a good staff. She's won a national championship as a player, at Cal, comes from pedigree of coaching. Her dad's one of the winningest baseball coaches in Southern California history. Her sister's won a national championship as a pitcher at Fresno State. So it's in her blood. She knows what she's doing. She's a hard worker, and they're very smart. And she's a good coach. And they've got some really good transfers. Braxton Burnside's a transfer. Gibson's a transfer. So they've done a really good job of filling needs. And she's an easy, hardworking, nice person. And so I don't see it. This league, you got to have a pitcher. If you got a pitcher and they've got 2, you got a chance to win every game.
Yeah, that's true. Tim, so let's go to the A&M series. You've been coaching a long, long time. Have you had 2 games that were that important that were both back-to-back walk-offs?
The only thing I can compare it to was the Monday or the Missouri series the week before. I mean, it's crazy. No, it's, to be honest with you, no. And not being down, 4-0. I mean, we're down 4-0. I mean, it's 4-0. And this team, I mean, we're averaging probably 4 to 6 runs a game, and maybe in that range, but 4-0. We haven't come back from that many runs this year. It's been really tough, because when we get a lead, we usually put the pedal to the metal and get out and go crazy. So, I was very, very happy with how important the games were. Our team played it like we're going to the College World Series, and you could tell by our emotions at the end of that weekend. It was really a great accomplishment.
Let's talk about Hannah Adams. She's had a tremendous year. She's been a great player for you. Just what does she bring to your softball team?
Just steady, consistent. She's she's steady Eddie type of player. She makes every play you see her make in the game, she makes in practice every single day. So what she does on the softball field on game day is nothing, surprising, because she's a really good worker, a really good, really good player, really good teammate. She's a silent assassin. She just comes out and does it. And, she just goes up there and you just go ho hum, boom, 2-run homer, just like that. Yeah. She kind of lulls you to sleep a little bit because she'll foul some pitches off. But she's a really good player. I mean, I was really hoping she'd be the SEC Player of the Year because, in my mind, she's she's the most valuable player we've had on our team. Charlotte Eccles obviously is right there with her, but Hannah's been, in my mind, the most fun player to watch in the league.
Speaking of Charlotte Eccles, I want to say we go back to before the season started. You were on the show. You said that she may be the best hitter you've ever coached. I think that's what you said. I saw where she has only struck out twice all year. That's crazy.
Yeah, and she's unbelievable. Her ball skills are unbelievable. I think that there's really probably one rival. Amanda Lorenz is probably the best hitter I've ever coached in all ways. Charla is learning and growing to be one of the best. But yeah, to not strike out and to hit for power, that's a unique quality, because typically I've always been one to say that if you want to hit for power, you're going to have to strike out a little bit. And she's been really, really good, Shane.
Yep. Dan says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, only 2 first-team All-SEC players, 5 for Bama, but Florida wins the title. Great team effort. So when you look at your team, who's been the biggest surprise so far this year for you?
I would probably it's hard. I mean, just because we didn't finish the season last year, I'd say it's not necessarily a surprise, but the biggest smile put on my face is Katie Chronister. The way she's played and performed. We don't have an opportunity to win walk off on Friday, walk off on Sunday without Katie Chronister's performance coming in and pitching and keeping the score where it was. She's been really, really instrumental. But she was that last year. She was already growing into that before the pandemic hit. Last year we shut the season down. But she puts the biggest smile on my face every time she goes out there and pitches. I just know how far she's come. At the University of Florida for the Florida Gators, she's by far the most improved player from the first day. From the first day to obviously our last day of regular season last Sunday.
Yeah. Speaking of pitching, it seems like this year's been very unique. In the past you've had your one stud, maybe 2, but it's kind of been pitching by committee. And I guess I'm going to ask you, how do you decide? Is it, baseball coaches, softball coaches go by the numbers or what have you, the matchups? Have you been a little surprised that you've had to use so many different girls in the circle this year?
No, I think the thing that's probably the most comforting is that we haven't had a game like we had at Missouri, the Saturday game where we threw every one of our pitchers. That's not a good feeling. It's usually not a good outcome. So we haven't had very many of those, but I think the Elizabeth Hightower has been great. Had a really, really good fall for us, and she's been great. She made the second team All SEC. And Natalie actually has one more win than Elizabeth does in conference. So to Dan's point, we only had 2 first teamers. We only have 3 even, or 4 selected total. And Natalie Lugo's a very deserving All SEC pitcher, as I felt like Katie Chronister was too. But it's been pitched by committee. And if Elizabeth doesn't have it, you pull her out in the second. If she's got it and she throws a complete game shutout, both pitchers have thrown complete game shutouts, but both pitchers have been pulled early in their game because we do have other pitchers that can come in and get outs differently. So I've been one. If you're on one, then I think the other one's going to match up a little bit better, and we'll just rotate.
Yeah, we're speaking with Coach Tim Walton here on the Titan More Hotline from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Okay, I got to ask you this, Coach, because between basketball, softball, baseball, you have your regular season champ, and then you have your SEC tournament champ. Coach Spurrier and I have always wondered, who gets the ring, or do you get the ring if you win both of them?
Well, just at the University of Florida, and obviously Scott's carried on the tradition that Jeremy had started. At the University of Florida, the SEC regular season champions get rings. Okay. Tournament champions get the automatic bid into postseason, quote unquote. But typically, if you win the SEC, you're going to have a really good seed as well into the NCAA tournament. So at Florida, SEC champions and rings are crowned from regular season. But there are a lot of schools that do it a little bit differently. And so Jeremy's like, we're not going to reward it. We'll give you a T-shirt and a hat for winning the SEC tournament. But you're going to be an SEC champion. You got to do it over a longer period of time, and that's just the way he's done it. And I respect that. I mean, I'm not one to I've been here 16 seasons. One was cut short by a pandemic. We won the SEC 8 times, Shane. And so to me, it's just you just go with it. You understand it. There's been a couple of years, we've lost the SEC by 1 game, by a half game. It's been been frustrating, but you know what? One of those years we won the national championship. So it's all part of the deal.
Yeah. Jonathan has a text here on the Titan Tomorrow text line. He said, Coach, can you talk a little about Julia Cottrell? Her slide, getting her tooth knocked out, and the game winner was incredible.
Yeah, it was one of the best slides you'll ever see. And Julia is an ultra competitor. She does a good job competing all the time. And one of the things that I had to go in that moment. I mean, it's the tying run. It's 2 outs. Everything lined up perfectly for that situation. But I think the biggest key for me is that she was able competitively to contort her body and put herself in position to put her hand on go from left hand to right hand. It was unbelievable. But then to be able to have the pull, she's never had a walk-off hit, let alone a walk-off home run. And, but she was our best hitter, Shane, from the fall, from October to February, 2nd. She was our best hitter statistically in the entire fall by a lot, not even close, with home runs and everything. So what she did on Sunday was really what I kind of expect out of her, long-term in her career.
We got a Facebook Live question here for you, Coach. Dan wants to know, do you think they're going to raise the capacity for the postseason play in softball?
I know they've already raised the capacity for the NCAA, so all sports. What the University of Florida and UF Health does, I think, has already been established. So I'm not involved in those meetings. I just usually do what they tell us to do. So I know we went from whatever the number was, 20 to 40 to 50% or whatever. There was a lot of people at the game on Saturday. There was probably not as many on Sunday at the earlier start, but there was a lot of people on Saturday. You could feel it. You could feel the number of people on the berm and in the seats. So I know the NCAA has upped the capacity and made their announcement. So yes, Dan, I think that some states are going to have different rules, but the maximum capacity has been moved up.
Coach, y'all are in Tuscaloosa. I guess today you'll have a little practice session. You play the winner of Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Let me ask you this about the SEC tournament. I think softball may be a little bit different than baseball because of the pitching. Girls can pitch a ton. I know your approach. You're a competitor. You want to win. So you're going in there to try to win the SEC tournament title. But is it in the back of your mind, is it one of these kind of deals where, well, if we get knocked out in the second round or whatever, it's okay. We got to get focused for regional play. Is there any of that kind of talk among, probably not the girls, but among the coaches, because like I said, it's probably different in softball because your girls can pitch forever.
Yeah. You do. And, I've pitched a freshman in this tournament opening round quite a bit because, number one, they need the experience, but I've thrown Stephanie Braunbacher, I've threw Delaney Gorley, I threw Kelly Barnhill, I threw Alicia Ocasio. I've thrown a freshman a million times, and we've won a bunch and we lost some in the first round. But I think the ultimate key is that, we were at Texas A&M. But by the time we played our first game, I got a text from one of the coaches, goes, "Hey, good luck in the tournament. We're already at home, get ready to practice for regionals." So, it is what it is, and this is one of those years, Auburn lost last night to South Carolina. And I truly believe all 12 of these teams that are left here, any one of them can beat anybody at any given time. And so, and you've seen that throughout this regular season. Arkansas had a great season. They went on, they swept a bunch of people. They lost 2 out of 3 to Missouri. They lost 2 out of 3 to Alabama. We went and had a bunch. We lost to South Carolina. We lost. Some of the toughest games we had all season long were at Mississippi State. So it's going to be a grind, no matter what. We've got rain here today already, and last night, just like we had in Gainesville. And so, we'll probably have to move to Plan C in the practice mode. But at the end of the day, we came here to win. But it's not a win at all cost tournament. I will tell you that the SEC does a great job of putting on events, and this will be a great one. But we won't be sitting here trying to figure out the win at all costs. Regionals are our focus next.
And finally, the SEC tournament will be in Gainesville next year, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
I can't wait for that. We got a text from Sheila here on the Titan Tomorrow text line. She wants to know, Coach, why wasn't Skylar Wallace eligible to play this year?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sheila. So, as the NCAA has recently come back from their Division I council meetings, and they have now lifted and will finalize the lifting of the transfer rules for more than likely all sports, that will more than likely trigger the SEC to probably take the transfer rule out of the SEC legislation. But every COVID SEC transfer, so every transfer that went from one SEC school to another SEC school was immediately eligible if they transferred in the fall. So because she was a mid-year transfer, came in at the middle of the year, the SEC office didn't feel like it was fair to allow her to transfer and be eligible because of that rule in place. And to be honest with you, Sheila and Shane and everybody else listening, I didn't disagree. I think that rule is in place. I recruited when Skylar and I had our conversations. I told her the only way you're going to be eligible is if the Division I council takes that transfer rule out of play. And even then, I think you have a 1% chance of playing this year. And at the end of the day, I was right. But she definitely helped us. She's a crazy athlete, and freaky skills. Ball skills are good. She's going to be a good one down the road. I don't know what position we're going to play her at, but she's been the one that's been really instrumental in our home games of keeping our team right. She's been full energy all the time.
So how many years will she have left to play?
On paper, she has 3 years left to play, but I told her by the time she's a senior, or whatever we call a senior, she's going to be close to my age. So she's going to have 3.
All right, Coach, so I got to ask you, you go 40-8 this year, 19-5 in league play. 2 of those 8 losses are to the UCF Lady Knights. Any chance we see them in Gainesville next week?
Yeah, I really, just by the way, the nature of, it's crazy. They come in and they've played well. They've been a good team, and they've gone on the road and, had some losses to some teams. And I mean, I told my team, they're as good as any team we've played all year. They've been really good. And so, let's just say you come off the weekend of the SEC and maybe we haven't been our best, but, I give them credit. I told them from the beginning of the year, when we're talking to Florida State and talking to South Florida and talking to UCF and Jacksonville and all the other schools, at the end of the day, because of our talent pool that we have here, we're all going to be matched up against each other in some way. Florida State's obviously going to probably be a top 10, 12 seed, so we probably won't see them. But long story short, I do believe we'll get one of those guys that are really, really good, and it's going to be a tough matchup.
So I guess since there's not many Ole Miss and Mississippi State people listening to the podcast today, could they expect some freshman pitcher tomorrow?
No. No. Yeah, no, we again, that's the one thing when you talk about using your freshman pitcher, that was when we had, in some cases we had 3 All-Americans on a staff. That was a rarity. But in those days we had 2 pitchers. One was a young one and one was the veteran All-American. This year by committee, we have, the 3 that have been really by committee. And so I would assume we're probably going to throw one of the 3 by committee. And, but I hope to get everybody an opportunity to toe the rubber here in Tuscaloosa. I think that Riley Trilicek's made some strides. Really leaned on her last year, and for whatever reason, with the really Natalie Lugo has trended way up, Katie Cronisher's trended way up, Elizabeth Hightower has the biggest growth of any pitcher on our staff, and so Riley really hasn't done anything but other than those other 3 have really just taken off.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time. I know y'all got a busy day ahead. We look forward to postseason play, and like I tell everybody, it's death, taxes, and Florida softball in Oklahoma City. It's a guarantee usually. So we appreciate it, Coach.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Shane. Appreciate you listeners. Go Gators.
Yeah, that's Coach Tim Walton joining us on the Titan MR Hotline. Going to take our first time out of the pro. When we come back, we'll have old JC join us. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, Cornerstone Financial, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Chick-fil-A on Archer Road, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Chomp Harder Apparel, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now through May 15th. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Regal Cinemas, Dave & Buster's, Nike, Palmetto Moon, Skechers, and coming summer of 2021, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Visors, Tailgate, and Rooftop Bar. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. I want to thank Coach Tim Walton. He's done as good a job as any coach at the University of Florida. It's amazing what he's done in his 16 years. And they just continue to win year in and year out. We're going to be joined by JC here momentarily. Some news and notes. Baseball loses a midweek game to Stetson. I'm not sure if that hurts them when it comes to, they got up to number 9 national seed, need to be in the top 8. Got to sweep Georgia and win a couple of games against Arkansas, I would believe. So we'll get JC's thoughts as soon as we get him on the line. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. The SEC softball tournament cranks up today, 4 games. Coach Walton said there's rain there. They had 1 game last night. South Carolina, I think they advanced. They beat Auburn. So Florida will play noon tomorrow against the winner of Ole Miss, Mississippi State this afternoon. So I tell you what, as Coach said, there's out of the 12 teams left playing, anybody can win the tournament. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. You sweep Georgia, we are still good. Hope so. Dan says we had the lowest amount of hits all year against the Hatters last night. So yeah, it's disappointing, but sometimes those midweek games don't really matter. But I don't really know what Stetson's record is at the RPI and all that kind of stuff. So we're still waiting for JC to join us. He probably has issues calling in. I don't know if he can talk and drive at the same time. He may not be talented enough to do that. He's on the road today, so we're trying to get him. But in the meantime, tomorrow we're going to have Nick De La Torre actually talking Gator baseball, along with Brent Beard. JC just texted. He will call in just a second. Okay, so we'll have Nick getting his thoughts on what happened against Stetson last night and also leading into the weekend against the Georgia Bulldogs. News and notes, if you've been living under a rock, the Jaguars are going to sign Tim Tebow, apparently. And if you missed yesterday's show, we had JP Shadrick, who works for the Jaguars, getting his thoughts. It's really interesting, the whole dynamic. You hear the Gator Nation, they're very excited about it. And then if you're not a Gator, you think it's ridiculous that they're signing him. So I'm going to get JC's thoughts. JC's very opinionated, get his thoughts and see what he has to say. Joseph says on the Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Stetson has a very good pitching, but still can't lose to those teams. We've been so up and down this entire season. Yeah, I don't know if it's been the season everyone expected for Gator baseball, but here's the deal. Once postseason play starts, nothing matters. And they have a good enough roster that they can move on and maybe make it to Omaha. Still waiting on JC here. Let me see if we got any texts on the Titan Mark text line. We do. We have one from Larry. Larry says, Shane, could you ask Coach Walton what his plans are for pitching in the SEC tournament? Well, sorry I missed that text, Larry, but we kind of went through that. He's going to pitch, his entire pitching staff, which is kind of weird to say in softball because you don't really have a pitching staff. It's usually one or two girls. But he's going to, whoever's hot is who he's going to pitch. Dan says on Facebook, I've heard ESPN this morning, a reporter brought up selling tickets is why they want Tebow. They have no clue. That's not true at all. With Urban and Trevor Lawrence there, that has sold enough tickets. You're not going to go buy tickets for somebody that probably is not going to make the team. So anyway, do we have JC? Are you there, JC?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, JC. Hopefully you can talk and drive at the same time. Be safe, my man.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just had to get through some construction by the hospital. It's unbelievable. They closed some roads and people are going in and out, and you'd think you were in Chicago or something. Gee.
Well, they do work on a lot of roads here for some reason.
Well, they need to.
We had to boot you around because we had some guy named Tim Walton on the program.
I heard of him.
Tim had to go at 8 o'clock. So sorry we had to screw up your afternoon.
No, you didn't screw up my afternoon. I'm just trying to make sure I don't rear end somebody here, QB. But I'm trying to get to my urologist appointment here this morning because I got my annual going on. And, you'd think this was the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, but they need to do something with the road, so I guess it's a good thing. But anyway, I heard you talking a little bit there about Tebow. He's not signed yet, right? This is just he's working out. He hasn't signed with the team, right?
No, but he's going to sign. He's going to go to camp. And we just had a Meldon Law Facebook Live here by Chris. He says it'll be interesting to see what Urban does with him. He's slow.
Well, look,
and he's small.
No way. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, folks. I hate to break this to all the Tebow loving Gator fans, and I love the guy too, but this man will not play tight end for the Jaguars. There is no way Urban Meyer is going to do that. What Urban Meyer is doing is he is allowing Tim Tebow this opportunity because that's what new coaches do. They don't want to burn bridges. They want to make people feel welcome. But but the thing that you were fearing, I think, is going to happen, and that is at some point he's going to get cut. And here's why. Tim Tebow looks like a 17-year-old playing in a 33-year-old body, but he cannot play that position when you've got guys who have worked out and played tight end most of their entire lives. It could create a problem on the locker room, even though Tebow is loved. I cannot imagine this guy on 4th and goal from the 3-yard line coming in to play tight end. Now, maybe he will. Maybe he will. But look, the face of this team is not Tim Tebow, it's Trevor Lawrence. And if Tim Tebow comes, he could slip in as the face of the team. And I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a bad idea to at least entertain the idea that this guy could try out and try to make the team, but I can't imagine him making the final roster. I would be really surprised. But stranger things have happened, QB, so who knows?
Yeah, I'll be shocked. I've talked about it the last 2 days, and Dan says on Facebook Live there's 2,800 players right now on NFL rosters, and 40% of those players will be cut by September. And like I said, I have nothing against Tim. I love what Tim stands for. I love his determination. But as I've said, it's a different ball game. Especially when you've never played the position at that level. And again, Tim's not quick. Tim's not fast. Tim is big and strong, but everybody in that locker room is big and strong. And I know he has great work ethic, but if you're at that level, you have some type of work ethic that, or you wouldn't be in those locker rooms. And I don't quite understand it. I understand Urban's giving him a chance, but people want to compare it to when Coach Spurrier signed a bunch of us. There's no comparison because everyone he signed had been playing on rosters, and he did have to cut some former Gators. But we were playing in the NFL on other teams on rosters, and so it's not even the same analogy, in my opinion.
Well, no, and plus you knew how to play quarterback. Doring knew how to play wide receiver. So-and-so knew what they were doing at the position that they played. Tight end, I'm sorry, but this guy hasn't played tight end. Now, maybe he can learn some of the basics to that position, but if I'm an edge rusher, I'm really not worried about Tebow blocking me. If I'm a defensive lineman, if I'm Michael, let's just say I'm not Aaron Donald, but I'm talking about a guy on the edge. Tebow blocking me is not a problem. I'm not worried about that. So I don't know. I don't see it. Tebow always wanted to be a quarterback, and he got a brief stint as a quarterback. He actually, I think, won a playoff game as a quarterback with Denver, but he didn't play well in that game. I mean, we can all remember how much trouble he had for 3/4 of that game. I don't know. I think it's kind of exasperating, to tell you the truth. I mean, the guy's got all the money he's ever going to need. He's got a great gig with the SEC network. I'm not really sure what this idea, trying to play baseball really hasn't panned out. We all knew that would be the case, right? So I'm not sure really what this is truly all about, but I guess it wouldn't have happened. I'm pretty confident in saying, QB, none of this would have happened if Urban Meyer wasn't in Jacksonville. So when players, and players in the locker room know this, right? I mean, these guys know that this is just kind of like, this has got to be a courtesy. That's all this can be. And I think that's all it's all going to turn out to be. And frankly, I'm already over the story, and it hasn't truly even begun yet.
Well, Dan asked on here on Facebook Live, why would Tebow leave the SEC Nation gig to babysit Lawrence? First, is there something there at the SEC network? Maybe, I don't know if he's still under contract, but Dan, this is what I'd like. I don't think people understand. He is not going to be doing anything with Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be in the tight end meeting room. And people got to remember, Trevor Lawrence is going to be running Darrell Bevel's system. And Brian Schottenheimer is the quarterback. This is not Urban's offense. Urban will have some tweaks here and there, but you got to remember, Urban didn't call any plays at Florida. It was all Dan Mullen. So my point is, people talk about when people say, well, Tebow can help Trevor Lawrence and this, that is not true. He will not be anywhere near the quarterbacks. And plus, the system is not what he ran at Florida. And so that's another thing that I think people misunderstand. So anyway, I heard this too, JC. I've never watched the show one time. What's that show on HBO? Right. Is it Hard Knocks?
Oh, yeah, Hard
Jaguars,
Knocks. They go in,
the Jaguars are going to be on Hard Knocks this year.
Well, maybe there's something to that. Who knows? Maybe this is about Tim Tebow's acting career. I have no idea. But that's a good show, by the way. But usually they take a team that, it's okay, QB. I mean, it's just an inside look of training camp and the locker room and so forth. And a lot of times it's with a team that really hasn't or isn't much of a threat to do much. The Jets were there one year. The Rams were there before they started winning. Hey, I got better news to talk about. I got something more important in my mind, and that is I saw a tweet from Scott Strickland yesterday. And, Gator football student tickets were on sale. And on the first day of sales, I don't know if you've mentioned this or not, but on the first day of sales, over 7,000 student tickets were sold. I think that's a great thing. I think it's a good number. I think fans are ready to come back into Florida Field, the Swamp, and I believe that you're going to see a much larger number as the days go through. I think my son bought a ticket, and his girlfriend bought a ticket, and so I love that because this is a good thing. You get 7,000 student tickets sold on the first day, so that's cool. That tells me that all systems are go for opening the capacity of the stadium. What their rules are when you walk in, I'm not sure, but I think kids are ready to go watch their college team play some damn football because they've been robbed of that for essentially a year.
Yep, I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a packed house everywhere in the Southeastern Conference.
Yep.
Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. May's your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. We're speaking with JC on the Titan Amar hotline. If you missed it earlier, we had Coach Tim Walton live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They play the winner of Ole Miss, Mississippi State tomorrow. Real quick, JC, I'm reading some Facebook Lives here. Dan says, I get he's being a tight end. I just don't get why he would be wanted as a motivator or, quote, urban guy. That's another misunderstanding. The motivating and all that kind of stuff, it don't work in the NFL locker room. Now it's different when you have a Tom Brady walk in your locker room or an Aaron Rodgers, one of those type players. People listen, people follow, but that's not going to happen because people, the NFL doesn't think they don't know what to think about the Tebow situation, I should say. But anyway, JC, are you ready for the Peachland Dentistry golf picks?
Yeah, I will, but can I divert to one more thing that I saw on Twitter that's interesting to me that I'd like to get your thoughts on?
Yeah.
Well, I saw yesterday, QB, also, as I'm scrolling, waiting in another doctor's office. This is my annual time to go get all things checked out.
We don't need to know all that.
All right. Well, no, you really don't. But this is what I was doing. So the Odd Sharks over-under for NFL win totals is now out. And regular season win totals, keep in mind, there are 17 games. So all of the teams have come out with the numbers. I'm going to give you a couple of the teams that I think you may be interested in. You tell me over or under, okay?
Okay.
How about we do the first one with the highest number is Kansas City. They have a total of 12.5. How would you take that?
So that means they got to go at least 13-4. I'll take the over.
Tampa Bay is 11.5. What would you do with that one?
Then I'll take the over.
Okay. Now, Jacksonville, who we've been talking about here, 6.5. I know how I'd go there.
I'll go under.
No, I'm going to take over on that one. 17 games. I think an easier division, although I do believe the Colts are very, very dangerous.
Well, you got the Titans there too. Pretty good team.
But speaking of the Colts, their number is 10, and Tennessee's is 9. So how would you go with the Colts? I mean, Colts getting Carson Wentz, great offensive line. I don't know, about all the skill guys they have, but the Colts at 10 seems awfully high to me.
I'm not a huge Carson Wentz guy. I guess I would need to see who they're playing as well. I don't even know who they're playing outside their division. Right. I would probably lean towards the Tennessee Titans over 9.
Over 9 instead of the Colts. How about this one? The lowest. Who do you think the lowest team point total for wins is in the NFL?
Probably the Bengals.
Well, the Bengals are 6.5 for the Bengals.
No, Houston Texans. Houston Texans.
Yes. Houston Texans only 4.5. They play in Jacksonville's division with the Colts and the Titans. 4.5, man. That would be something if they can't win 5 games. And then we have the Detroit Lions also. They're very low at 5. The Buffalo Bills, 10.5. The Ravens, 10.5. The Rams are at 10. The Chargers are at 9. A lot of folks are interested in that Chargers-Washington game because some of the schedule is seeping out right now. Justin Fields and the Bears are going to play the Rams on, I think it's on a Sunday night or Monday night game. You got the Patriots at 9.5. What do you think about that one?
I don't know.
How about the Dolphins? How about the Dolphins at 9? That seems kind of high.
Well, I mean, they could go 10-7. 10-7 doesn't sound like a great year, does it?
No. So I think all these numbers, I guess what I'm going to get at is all these numbers seem somewhat low to me, although I know not everybody's going to win. Another big game, Cleveland and Kansas City are in week 1. The Browns are thought of as a threat in the AFC. So they've got a total of 10 wins. I can't remember in the last 3 decades when Cleveland was expected to win 10 games in a season, but here they are. on these odds. So I found that interesting yesterday. I think you can look at that. Just go to oddshark.com and you'll see these odds for these teams. But they seem like,
JC,
I don't know. I think there will be more overs and unders.
With the NFL going to 17 games, I haven't really looked into it enough, but some teams are going to play more road games. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah. Well, no, and also don't forget London is a factor into the scheduling as well. So some teams are going to be losing a home game, playing a game in London. The NFL, for some reason, loves doing that. I also think the NFL has a game scheduled with the Raiders and Cowboys, I think, in Mexico City. So, they're starting to branch out the scheduling a little bit. Jacksonville was a team that had to play in London, I think, in 1 year twice, which was ridiculous. But that was before they could sell tickets. Now they're taking the tarp off the upper deck, and they're going to sell that place out. So I don't know. I think it is unfair in somewhat respect. I do agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, JC, are you tired of living with chronic joint pain? There are new breakthrough treatments at QC Kinetics here in North Central Florida that not only alleviate your pain, they speed up the healing process. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. We're speaking with JC for a few more minutes here on the Titan MR hotline. We got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Metal Law. I want to read here. Dan says he got a 60-1 ticket for the Jaguars to win the Super Bowl when he was in Mississippi. Yeah. Dan just threw away his $5 or whatever he put on that. Brandon wants to know, do we think Jameis Winston will get the Saints to the playoffs? Is Jameis scheduled to be their starter?
Yeah, he is.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, he sure is. He didn't play at all hardly last year. He was signed, but here he is. I don't know. I think Sean Payton will help him do better than what was going on in Tampa, but the guy just always has had a tendency to light it up either one way or the other or both. And so there won't be a lack of excitement in New Orleans. I think that's for sure. Either he'll be throwing it to the other team or he'll be throwing a great pass in the end zone to a Saint. I don't know. Either one. This guy he's got a lot going on.
JC, this is a great question right here, and it's brought to you by Metal Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Jeff says, who is a bigger loss from the 2018? Dan Mullen leaving or Percy leaving to the NFL because the offense was not the same in 2009? I know my answer.
Definitely. I'm going to say Percy.
Absolutely.
There's no question. No question about it. And I think, listen, we all love what Tebow was able to do. Tebow had Aaron Hernandez, Jeff Demps, Chris Rainey, a great offensive line. He had Percy Harvin. And Percy Harvin, some folks might not like hearing this, but Percy Harvin made Tim Tebow look really good on a lot of really bad plays that could have happened. One in particular was a 3rd and long against LSU. I'm sitting in the north end zone. He's about to get sacked. He literally throws it up like Gino Torretta, and Percy Harvin makes a play on the 50-yard line and takes it to the house. Those kind of plays weren't on Tebow. Those were on Percy Harvin, and there was a lot of them. And he was one of the best skaters, I think, to ever play on that field when he was healthy and when he didn't have a damn migraine. He was one of the best skaters to ever see the field in that uniform. Period.
He's the best. He's the best I've ever seen with the ball in his hands for the Gators.
Oh, he's unbelievable. But listen, those 608 teams, the Demps, Rainey, Hernandez was good. Those teams could really play. Offensively, there was no stopping that team. And I don't know. I don't know if Tebow had a lot to do with it. He pulled out a lot of great games. Yes, he won the SEC championship in 2008. Beat Alabama because they held the ball literally the entire 4th quarter, and that was a lot of 3rd down conversions on Tebow. That was the best I've seen him play. The second best game I ever saw Tebow play was against Florida State in Tallahassee, when his jersey was all bloodied and everything, and they couldn't stop him. But I also saw him look really average in many other games. But I think he had such a great supporting cast that helped him win the Heisman Trophy, no doubt.
Yeah, Chris says Riley Cooper, Lewis Murphy at receiver as well. Tebow had NFL talent all around him. Percy's the most talented Gator ever. I agree with that. JC, it's time for This Day in Sports, brought to you by Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind's our promise. From now until May 31st, get the preventative maintenance plan for $169 and save almost 40% off the normal cost. Any maintenance schedule between now and May 31st, you'll be entered to win a Nest thermostat with installation. This Day in Sports in 2013 at the Players Championship. You know who won the Players in 2013, JC?
How about Ricky Fowler?
There was a guy named Tiger Woods won his second Players Championship. But listen, he won by 2 strokes ahead of this. Listen to this juggernaut. David Lingmerth, Kevin Streelman, and Jeff Maggart.
Yeah, listen.
It's interesting, because I know people argue, is Jack the greatest? Is Tiger the greatest? And Tiger's won a ton of golf tournaments. I would have liked to have seen Tiger in his prime playing with the talent on the tour right now, with the Dustin Johnsons, if they were all like the same age. You know what I'm saying? That would have been cool.
Yeah, there was one guy that Tiger beat pretty handily who has as much talent as anybody in golf, and that was Phil Mickelson. And without Tiger around, Phil Mickelson certainly wins more tournaments or more majors, I think. But he still won 5 or 6. So I agree with you in that regard. But I'd also like to see what Tiger could have done in the 70s and 80s with the stuff they used back then on the courses they played back then when Jack played. Now, one of the things about the TPC that you just kind of jogged my memory on with those names, Maggart and so forth, Streelman, was I was at the tournament, I think it was in 04 when Craig Perks won the Players Championship, and Craig Perks literally disappeared from the face of golf after that championship. I've never seen a better ghosting act than Craig Perks after winning over $1 million in that day. In 04, I think it was, at the TPC. So I'm ready to go ahead and take my Byron Nelson picks down if you want to, QB.
There's no question. It's time for the Peach Lane Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlandental.com. All right, JC, you go first.
Okay, well, I really whiffed on John Rahm last week. He's again in the field, but I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I don't think he's playing great. So I'm not going to take him. How about that? So instead, let me go with Cameron Champ at the ATT Byron Nelson. Cameron Champ.
The Aggie, the Texas A&M Aggie. I like it.
That's it.
I'm going to go. Yep. I'm going to go with Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah, Masters champion. He's back now, ready to go. Good player. I'll take. There's always a guy out of nowhere that comes and wins tournaments like these. And I don't really know who that would be. But Keith Mitchell sure played well last week. And I'm going to keep him staying hot this week. And maybe he will break through. Keith Mitchell, he has one on tour. And so I will take Keith Mitchell to go with Cameron Champ.
I'm going to take Scotty Scheffler. He's playing. He's a Texas boy. Yep. I think he'll play well out there.
All right. Good pick there. I like that one. And I guess the final pick I'm going to go with will be I'm going to take a name guy this time. I'm going to take a name guy to go with Mitchell and Champ, and I'm going to go ahead and take Bryson DeChambeau.
Well, I knew you were going to pick him because this is a course that is wide-ass open, and he can bomb it away, and he'll be on like 2 fairways over, and it won't matter, and he'll still make birdie. Because this course is wide open. I knew you were going to take him. I'm going to take Daniel Berger, the semi.
Yeah, that was my next. I couldn't decide. That he's the kind of guy that can play great there too. So there you go. I got Champ, I got DeChambeau, and I got Mitchell, and you got Scheffler and
Hideki and Berger.
Berger and Hideki. I like it.
All right, JC. Well, have good luck at your doctor's appointments, and we will talk to you on Friday.
You bet. Thanks, QB.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan MR Hotline. Going to take our final time out of the program today. We come back. wrap up this Wednesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios.
Hey Gators, this is Coach Steve Spurrier. Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Tim, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. G-Tech Sport, keep your athletes in the game with G-Tech Sport. Celebration Point Town Center, Center State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Route Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, TB Financial, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Darshakow Insurance. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
We're looking for all type of restaurant people, managers, servers, bartenders, hosts, cooks, dishwashers, bussers. If you think you're good in the restaurant business, then give us a call.
Spurrier's Gridiron Grill job fair is open now through May 15th. All you have to do is go to spurriersdraft.com and fill out an application.
We're looking for the good team members, and we're looking for people with a wonderful attitude that can make Spurrier's Gridiron Grill the best we can possibly be. To apply, go to spurriersdraft.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Center State Bank's becoming South State Bank, but they still put business first. Understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State will still have 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member FDIC. Also want to thank one of our new sponsors coming on board. We'll tell you a little bit more about them. Silverback Concrete. If you need any concrete jobs done, go to silverbackconcrete.co. Check them out. They will take very, very good care of you. We got a text on the Titan MR text line here. It comes from Phil. Phil wants to know, why do you think Urban Meyer didn't sign Trey Burton as a tight end? Well, Trey Burton has played tight end and played well in the NFL level. The only thing I can think that they didn't want to sign Trey is his minimum salary is probably, I don't know what the salary cap issues are with the Jaguars, how much room they have to wiggle with. But being a minimum guy, as long as he's been in the league, or maybe he wants several $1 million a year, is negotiating, maybe that made them shy away. I don't know. It could be a contract issue with Trey Burton. But I do think Trey would be a good fit there. Rick says on Facebook Live, I can't wait for Spurrier's Gridiron Grill to open. What a great place to work if I worked. Oh, he would go work there. Yes, it is going to be a fantastic place, no doubt. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll have Nick Delatorre talking Gator baseball. I hope you enjoyed Tim Walton. Want to thank Coach Walton for getting up in Tuscaloosa and joining the program today. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.